I've been chasing this guy ever since I joined the force. He has no conscience, and he shows no remorse. He's the mastermind behind numerous bombings and political assassinations. He has a felony list a mile long: murder, arson, kidnapping, terrorism, you name it. He's the most dangerous and brilliant criminal mind I've ever known. For years, I've been watching him, tracking him, studying his every move. I know his every mannerism, facial tic, gesture. I know him better than he knows himself. And now, after all this time, I finally figured out a way to trap him. I will become him. I don't care if I live.
You're not having any fun, are you, Sean? Try terrorism for hire. We'll blow some stuff up. It's more fun.
Plan B. Let's just kill each other.
The gunfight.
Well, the gunfight when there was the mirrors.
Yeah.
Just the man in the mirror.
How is that not the song of the film?
No kidding. Okay, well, welcome back, watchers. I'm Kelly Appeal.
And I'm Katie Surusset. We've been yapping this whole time. Sorry.
No, well, we had it muted, but it was just us yapping behind the scenes.
Oh no, I saw it on the live. It showed us on the live.
Oh yeah, when I transitioned over, I was like, fuck it, we ballin'.
We're figuring it out, yeah. But yeah, now if you'll excuse me, I need to use the little boy's wee room.
And don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, click the little bell icon. You get notified anytime we do anything sick as hell. And also maybe, I already said share, but like, share
it. Tell your friends.
That'd be dope.
But yeah. So this week we're talking about the Santa Cruz Losers' favorite movie and banger, Face Off, which I thought was the John Travolta movie George said we should do, and it's not. He was saying Punisher.
John Travolta's in Punisher?
That's what George said.
Allegedly.
John Travolta, Punisher. Googling. Yeah, he was in The Punisher in... When did this come out? 2004.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
A long time ago. Kyle wasn't even born yet.
Aw, little baby.
Little baby.
Yeah, hi to the chat. We have Santa Cruz Loser. We have George. We have Kyle.
Thanks.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Face Off. That was something.
That was something. Do you want to introduce our director and the fun facts, and then?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sure. So it was directed by John Woo, who did Mission Impossible 2 and a bunch of other kind of action-y movies. Mm-hmm. Written by Mike Werb. That last name just kind of makes sense. And Michael Colleary. And starring John Travolta as Sean Archer and Castor Troy. And Nicolas Cage as Castor Troy and Sean Archer. And then Joan Allen as Eve Archer and Gina Gershon as Sasha Hassler, who Gina Gershon was in Cocktail.
That's right.
Girlfriend that got mad at him for telling his friend that they slept together, so she went and slept with the friend, which...
She showed Tom Cruise. She showed him.
Sure she did. So this film is a science fiction action and thriller, what they don't tell you is that it's a banger of a comedy.
Yes.
Um,
They missed that
so
part.
yes, yeah, they missed out on that advertising. So Nick Cage and John Travolta spent 2 weeks together before filming to learn how to play each other. They decided on specific gestures and like vocal cadences for each character that could be mimicked, which I think that Nick Cage did a pretty decent John Travolta.
Yeah.
But John Travolta's Nick Cage just made me very uncomfortable. I think you know what to expect from Nick Cage.
I can say like this movie made me go like, oh, Nick Cage is not that bad of an actor comparatively to John Travolta.
Yeah. John Travolta should just be singing and dancing and leave it at that.
Yeah.
I also read that that Nick Cage initially did not want to take the role because he didn't want to be a bad guy. But then they were like, well, you'll be a bad guy and good guy. And so that made him go like, okay. Originally, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone were in mind to play the lead roles, which would have been an action thriller.
That would have been my movie.
Yeah, and but when John Woo was brought in to direct, he's decided that John Travolta and Nick Cage would be more suited to the roles.
I guess. Okay. They don't even have similar body types. Like, at least Arnold and Sly have similar body types.
That them together just wasn't a pair that I would have thought of.
No.
But other pairs that the studio wanted were Michael Douglas and Harrison Ford, Bruce Willis and Alec Baldwin, Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal.
Another odd pair.
Denzel Washington and Wesley Snipes, and Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, which is like, when this movie started, I texted you and I was like, this is just like a bad version of Heat.
Yeah.
And, could you imagine so Heat came out, in 95, and this came out in 97. So if like Robert De Niro and Al Pacino did Heat, and then 2 years later did Face Off. I think it could have worked, actually.
No, for sure.
The budget for the film was $80 million, which I asked, what was the budget for this film? And you said $1 bazillion because the practical effects were fucking crazy.
I mean, they were great, but it was a lot.
Yeah, they were really good. Yeah, it was that was the best part of the film for sure, was all the explosions. So 80 million, which is 164 million by today's standards.
It seems low to me for some reason. By today's
standards. I don't know what money is worth.
Yeah, true.
So, John Travolta asked the writers if they were making fun of him with the, quote, ridiculous chin line. They explained that Castor was such a narcissist that he would hate having anyone else's face. He says, well, think about me, this nose, this hair, this ridiculous chin. To which George talked about John Travolta's chin like hard. 75% of the film. Like,
it's hard not to. It's a very
it is a ridiculous chin.
Yeah, it's very pronounced. I like that the boats were like, I'm gonna go back on a statement. I said Goodfellas was a movie made for men. Face Off is a movie made for men.
Face Off is a movie made for men.
Go ahead.
When we talked about Goodfellas, we really broke down how Goodfellas was like criticizing like masculinity and like hypermasculinity, whereas this is like men. We
testosterone.
So yeah,
big penises.
Enough of men.
Yeah, like literally, like there was one part, the boat chase scene, where Steven's like, this is so fucking awesome. Like, just like, and the boat scene was fucking sick.
It
was dope, and I do enjoy this movie. Like, I know I recommended this, and I know this is a roast, but it is like, it's ridiculous. It's campy. Like, come on. Yeah, it's silly. It's
an insane movie.
They're both bad actors. Like, it's just a lot.
Yeah. It's got a lot going against it, which is like something we talked about with Cocktail, is like what makes bad movies good is when they are so like earnest in trying to make a good film. That's definitely like what they were doing. And it's so it's such a fucking fever dream
Yes.
that it's like, it feels like, what did I just watch? And I really like, I texted you while watching it because I was like, I don't know what I thought the movie was about because I didn't look up like any trailers, nothing about it. I saw it's called Face Off as soon as I was like, oh, we got a criminal and a cop. It's basically Bad Heat. And then the science stuff started happening and I was like, oh, so like literally Face Off.
The technology in this film is fantastic. Like, I love when Archer is doing, when he's doing like the FBI lookup page and he's looking up into Castor Troy's like criminal record. I'm sorry, I have the hiccups all of a sudden. And then it's like
very like Spy Kids.
Yeah, it's like beep 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 beep, and it's like carousel sniper victim, and it's like his son. And I was like, whoa, technology was fucking ripping in 97.
Yeah, it was. They made it seem a lot cooler.
I like when they just drop Travolta's face in the fucking jar. Like,
yeah, they're like, this will keep.
Yeah. It's on water.
It blew my mind that they left John Travolta or Troy Castor Troy.
Right? I was like, okay, so they're just gonna leave him raw.
Like, hey, he's in a coma.
Just leave him raw.
Like, we'll just leave him there like unmonitored and stuff. He'll probably die. Like,
I mean, they did take his face literally off. It was gross.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna talk about this ridiculous film. Yes, this banger. FBI agent Sean Archer, which is again John Travolta. So when they switch faces, I'm going to refer to them as their names, still not who they're identifying or look like.
Okay.
Survives the carousel sniper attempt. However, his son Michael does not, which motivates a vendetta between Archer and domestic terrorist Castor Troy. We fast forward to 6 years later, and Archer's team has finally cornered Troy and his cronies, including an epic game of chicken between a Hummer and a plane, which was so ridiculous.
There was so much that happened that, like my brain had to make room for new stuff happening that I, like, forget about other things.
Well, because, lest we forget, this movie's 2 hours and 18 minutes long. It's incredibly long.
We need to stop picking such long movies.
I know. During the standoff, Troy teases... I'm sorry, Archer gets in a helicopter, and then the helicopter's pushing the plane down.
Just doesn't make sense.
And while this helicopter is pushing the plane from taking off into flight, Troy has enough time to, like, basically tease Archer about the fact that he and his brother Pollux, who's, like, weird and twitchy, have planted a bomb in LA. This is before 9/11, so we could have bombs in movies all the time. Mm-hmm. Once the bad guys are ultimately caught, and Troy is in critical condition, which leads to a coma, we later jump ahead to Pollux being in custody, and he confirms that the bomb is in fact real, and the FBI obtains this really dope floppy disk. I love old technology. It's so good. So they bust out their floppy and they throw it in, and it's like kind of porny at first. It's like, I'm Sinclair, wink.
She's like,
yeah, and then it shows the stats for this dope ass bomb. And they're like, we gotta do something about this. There's a bomb in LA that's not gonna be good for the people of LA.
Like, but they didn't say like when it was supposed to go off. So they planted this bomb.
I think they knew they had 6 days. That's all.
Why plant a bomb with 6 days?
It's just time to kill, I guess. So in order to disarm the bomb.
Disarm the bomb.
It's just crazy that this is the lengths they had to go to disarm the bomb. I kind of forgot that that's like the whole plot of this movie, or like the opening plot is it's like this is the whole reason why their faces are swapped. So Archer undergoes a secret medical treatment by literally removing his face and replacing it with Troy's, including changing an already tragic hairline to something more tragic and changing his voice.
Which, like, so when he was first describing the procedure, he had that, like, mask thing, right? And he was like, the mask is going to be formed to your face. And
that's
then
not what happened.
Face. I'm like, yeah, what happened to that mask?
The mask sucked up the face skin.
Also,
and
like,
dropped it in the jar.
Couldn't you just do, like, prosthetics? Like, I feel like prosthetics at this point were okay.
You're being ridiculous when the only real option to disarm the bomb is literally removing your face and taking on a domestic terrorist's face, changing your hairline, getting liposuction, because John Travolta is not as skinny as Nick Cage, like, lest we forget. So,
lest we forget.
Robbie says not roast-worthy at all. Robbie,
Robbie's really turning on us lately.
We lost our fan.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. We're not disagreeing that's a good movie, but it is inherently ridiculous. Like, the face removal surgery, John Woo did a great job. There's no question. This is a fantastic action movie. It's high, if you will, it's high octane action. We have several, shootouts. The boat scene is epic.
The practical effects are
fantastic.
Truly insane.
Yeah, they need to take notes. Nowadays because everything's CGI boo-boo garbage. And this movie, the practical effects are great. Everything's great.
Let's blow more stuff up. Let's drag stunt doubles through water at high speeds.
Yes. I loved that. I can't wait to talk about that. So yeah, we change a hairline, change the voice, and now Archer is Troy, and he's placed into a high security prison in the middle of the ocean with metal boots that track all his movements in the prison, which reminded me of Legend of Zelda because Link gets metal boots and then he can climb up walls and stuff. So less fun.
Pretty cool. Also crazy that he didn't use the boots to climb up walls.
Right? They must have been not magnetized. I did like the big TV of nature that was on. I was like, prison doesn't seem so bad. They get to watch nature shows all day.
Yeah.
And Steven was disagreeing with me, but I don't know. It's deers. So his whole motivation of being in the prison is to find out where the bomb is located. So he runs into his brother, Pollux, and determines the location of the bomb. And he's like, "You're so pathetic." Meanwhile, while Archer's in this high security prison in the middle of the ocean, Troy wakes up and he doesn't have a fucking face, which is
crazy,
really gross and ucky.
But then, like, when you see the face, like, because you see Nick Cage's faceless and, like, the reflection of some guy's sunglasses or glasses or whatever, it just looks like ketchup and strawberry jam.
I don't know. I thought it was ucky. And then he was smoking a cigarette, and I was like, I feel like the fumes on your raw muscles
would burn. And what lips? With what lips?
He's holding it with his teeth. Oh, ever since One Battle After Another, Robbie's secretly our op. He wants our podcast done for.
He wasn't even there for that conversation. He gave him a chance to stand up for
defend it. So Troy, reasonably so, is like, I want a fucking face on. I don't want my face off. I want a face on.
Face on.
So he gets his cronies and they get the doctor and then they give him the same surgery. He gets a better hairline because that's how easy male pattern baldness is solved, was just the technology and face off. And his voice has changed. And then he covers everyone in gasoline that's aware that Archer got the surgery and burns them alive. And so...
One of the FBI agents, what's her name?
I couldn't remember her name either, but...
CCH something. George, drop it in the chat, But I kept just quoting Dennis, quoting her, damn it, Dutch, what other errands do you have us running for the DA?
Stephen was quoting that too.
Constantly. It's all we could do. With an insane jawline. She had an insane
She does
jawline.
have a very strong jawline. Good luck doing face-off surgery on her, you know.
Yeah, for real.
So that
match up
means,
to anybody.
too, that Nick Cage had to get John Travolta's pot belly. Little pooch.
Yeah.
There's holes. There's holes. That's all I'm saying. If it was Arnie
potholes, yeah.
and Sly, that's the same body type.
That's
Nick
true.
Cage
Yeah.
and John Travolta have John Travolta hasn't been a lean man since Grease, so.
Yeah.
But you know, whatever. That's whatever. Whatever. I'm nitpicking. I'm pulling at threads. Okay, so now that Archer has his info, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. We're gonna disarm that bomb, America. And he's ready to get his face back, which is, that's awesome. But he's met with a visitor, which is no other than himself. I mean, Castor Troy with his face.
Oh my God, oh no.
I know. It was crazy. We did not see that coming.
I didn't see it coming.
Troy informs Archer that everyone who knows about a super secret face-off surgery is dead, and now he's stuck with Troy's face and will rot in prison. And he also lets him know he's going to bang his wife and ruin his career. Just FYI. And he also, in all of this, they get into a little tussle, so then Archer gets his ass beat because he's an inmate beating trying to fight an FBI agent.
Yeah, he can't do that.
And then Troy also frees his brother Pollux, because he realizes that it's his brother. Kind of gray area of how that happened, but I loved how he was whimpering during the scene. I'm really gonna say Nick really put his whole pussy into this film. Nick Cage did a good job in this film.
He really committed to playing John Travolta.
Yes, he really did.
It was good. It was good.
So like now Troy has this new scheme where he's like, I'm gonna be a hero. So he gets the location of the bomb from Pollux and then disarms it in a super heroic fashion with only 2 seconds on the clock. I know the news reporter said 1 second, but it was 2. I saw the clock.
I know. She was going for more drama, more tension.
America propaganda.
Lying to these people.
So Troy is like basking in his glory of being a hero. Margaret Cho's like, you pulled the stick out of your ass. Everyone loves the new Archer, Troy. And meanwhile, the real Archer, he's like having like not a great time in this high security prison, it turns out.
Turns out prison isn't great.
Kind of sucks. So he devises a plan to get out of this prison, which, he stirs up a ruckus. First and foremost, because that will get him electroshock therapy, which is the only time they take off the metal boots. But during this almost electric shock therapy, he's like, hold on, let me have a cigarette, because prisoners have rights, I guess.
All of a sudden.
Which the prisoner that was being electrocuted, that apparently Troy had a three-way with that guy's sister and wife. That inmate with the goatee that did the shootout with him, that's Andy from True Blood. He's the sheriff from True Blood.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
There's a lot of, there's Mike Delfino from Desperate Housewives. There is a lot of, actors in this movie that I was like, oh. So anyway, he, kicks the security guard, and then he gets the guy to help him out, and then there's, this big shootout in the prison, and then that guy who helped him ends up dying, but ultimately Archer's able to escape by jumping into the ocean, and the helicopter police are like,
he must be dead.
He's gone!
And then he swims to the fucking shore, which is okay.
It's none of our business. I just like the way that the second he got into the water, they were like, our work's done here, boys.
That's a state worker. That's a California state worker. If I've ever seen one.
No kidding. So, meanwhile, so Archer's busting out of this, and then Troy's kind of getting cozy in his new life, which includes checking out his teenage daughter, who's Lolita. which we mentioned her in Cruel Intentions. That was a really weird scene because it's like he checks her out, but then he like smokes a cigarette to be a cool dad, and she's like, "Whoa, my dad's cool all of a sudden."
He's coming on to me hella weird, but I guess because he smokes, it's cool. Okay, I didn't realize that you could see the shore a mile away. I thought it was like.
Then really, it's not really in the ocean. Why would they put it only a mile away? That seems like not that far enough. That's like Alcatraz is further.
For like the biggest, like
high
worst
security
prisoners.
prison.
Yeah, exactly.
The worst of the worst domestic terrorists. They're only a mile away from shore. Ridiculous.
From Los Angeles,
and you have
where
to think,
like all the rich people live.
Right, and you have to think having a high security prison, and that's why they closed Alcatraz. It was like insanely expensive to run because it's like so far out. So think about having this like fully like ran facility that's like, it's not because Alcatraz is at least an island, so it has a foundation. They had to make a foundation to make this prison.
Yeah,
and the costs seem, and then they have special metal boots. Weekly electroshock therapy.
Yeah, you have your electroshock therapy. You have your big television showing nature.
It just seems very cost ineffective.
They don't spend that much money on prisoners. Come on.
I guess they do. I mean, they say death penalty costs more money than keeping a prisoner alive, so I guess they're proving it. I guess they're proving it.
That is true.
So also, Troy is successful in banging Eve, which I thought was very interesting that she's been with this man for, like, at least 15 years, you could assume, by their daughter's age, and she can't tell that his personality is completely different. I was like,
yeah, it almost seems like she's like into it. Like it's like, oh, he has this new like revitalized life to him and stuff. And it's like, he's just a pervert.
Yeah, Eve, girl, get it together. Like she was. It had been 2 whole months. She was like, what am I gonna do? I gotta get some.
I know. When her diary, I thought that was John Travolta's character.
I thought it was his diary at first, too.
Fucking loser.
Because I kept going, is this set in the future? Because the technology seemed like it was supposed to be advanced, but then we got like conclusive evidence that it is set in 1997 because of the diary. I like that we both thought it was Archer's diary. He's like laying in his bed, kicking his feet.
Be a bigger loser.
So, Archer as Troy, who's now on the run, makes his way to like the big drug dealer gang hanging out, which I thought was like, it turned out it was the bald guy's house. I thought it was like a club. I was like, oh, cool, we at the club. But it's just a dude's house.
It was just a crazy setting for a house.
It looks like a big empty facility. Yeah.
It looked like a warehouse, like, so it definitely seemed like where like raves would be held, which is probably just what that guy's life is like, so.
No, it was Eve's diary. And she was the one that's like, it actually makes it funnier to picture it being Archer's diary and being like, me and my wife haven't made love in 2 whole months. She just doesn't woo me anymore.
I know, when I realized, because we realize that it's Eve's diary because Troy as Archer tells her, I have a confession, I read your diary. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like when he said that, I was like, oh, okay, it's her diary. Women are allowed to have diaries. George tried to be like, no, it's still weird. She's an adult. And I'm like, women are allowed to have thoughts that they need to write down and contemplate.
If anyone's allowed to have thoughts that they need to write down, it's a middle-aged mother.
Exactly.
And she's a doctor. Girl's got lots of feelings. Most of them revolving around her husband not banging her for 2 months.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure it's just
give the woman
a great time.
She saves lives.
Big sweaty John Travolta. We talked about for a minute, Steven and I did, about how like John Travolta was like considered like very hot at one point in history.
Yeah.
And I don't see it personally.
No.
Like, no. I get it. He has pretty blue eyes. Like, blue eyes are always... Blue-eyed girl. Blue eyes are always, like, canonically pretty. But, like, Nick Cage has blue eyes, and he's also unattractive. So...
Yeah,
But
that's like
Nick Cage was
when I
considered
texted you
hot
I'm
too.
so fucking mad about this. Like, we gotta stop pretending that Nick Cage was ever attractive.
He's not attractive, and John Travolta wasn't either, in my opinion. And I've seen him all the way back to, what's the one? Saturday Night Fever, his like first real movie, which was a very not lighthearted film. Mizu, please. Steven, please get your cat. You won't leave me alone.
Steven, come get your boy.
Yeah, so anyway, sorry. Just thinking about John Travolta like humping on you just like made me just go, ugh.
Pass.
Pass. Yeah, that's not
Hard
a smash.
pass.
That's a pass. So he's on the run and he makes his way to the big gang hangout, and he tells the gang members that he wants to take Archer's face off. And that's like literally when they say face off. He's like, what if I...
shit.
He's like, what if I take his face off? And now
just
Elliot enters. Yeah, he's like, trip. I think this was right before he took the drugs. And then he ends up taking the drugs and he like trips. And then that's when he does some weird eye thing. And he says he's going to go to the little boy's room, wee wee room, which I was like, who wrote this line?
This fucking pervert.
That feels ad-libbed because I've never in my 30-something years of existence heard the line, little boy's wee wee room. I've heard little boy's room.
Yeah.
Little boy's wee wee room?
It's very specific.
I feel like that was a Nick Cage ad-lib.
But it sounds like it to me sounds like Nick Cage being like, what would John Travolta sound like if he was high?
Little boy's wee wee room.
Little boy's wee wee room.
Ooh, princess, a little boy's wee wee room. So he passes out, and then he like wakes up and Sasha's on him, and she reveals that they have a son together. And then he like tweaks out and he's like, Michael, because he kind of vaguely looks like Michael because he's a little white boy.
Just fucking crazy. I'm like, you gotta get it together, Archer.
And then somewhere in this mess of all this, I kind of forgot to write it in, but I want to include it. Troy randomly has like a good guy moment where he saves the teenage daughter from getting raped from actual future rapist Danny Masterson. And he gives her a little butterfly knife. And tells her,
like it really started to seem like living in each other's lives was going to make each of them a better person. And it kind of started to do that. And then it was just like, no, never mind, just kidding.
Because I feel like Castor Troy being a literal domestic terrorist and like a bad, like just like a canonically bad person, like wouldn't really care that much that like his arch nemesis's daughter is being like sexually assaulted. But I guess even domestic terrorists draw a line. And that's,
but
that's that.
If there's a line to have, that is a pretty good one.
No, for sure. And I mean, I guess ultimately he is a dad too, so he's probably like, oh, would I want this to happen to my kid? Probably not.
Well, but he didn't know that he had a kid at that point.
I think they don't clarify that, but I do get the impression Troy is aware that it's Adam, right? I think it's Adam.
But no, because
I thought she said just no one else knows.
I think she says, like, to him, like, do you want to meet your... Like, she says to Adam, like, do you want to meet your dad or something like that about Troy? Like, and kind of, like, reveals to Archer as Troy that Adam is their son.
Oh, I thought Adam just hadn't met his dad. I was under the impression Troy was aware that he was Adam's dad. But that's maybe just me assuming. Who cares? So, since Troy is aware that Archer has escaped the high security prison, he's assembled a team, and a big shootout happens at the drug dealer gang hideout house. And this is technically the second shootout of the film, which does leave his brother Pollux dead. And then that's where we probably get, in my opinion, like the best scene of the movie where like Archer and Troy are about to face off, but there's like mirrors, so they're like looking at themselves, and it's like, wow, I'm facing off with my own image.
And then they're just both like, bang, 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 bang. Neither of them get shot ever.
You know how you... So then the big shootout happens, and Troy is like obviously very upset about his brother's passing. Like Pollux was a weird twitchy dude, but it was his little brother. He would tie his shoes and feed him his happy pills. So I think for him, that was like probably the person he cared most about in the world. And then he's like back at the FBI and like in a weird, like almost telepathic fashion, because he's like, he like squints at the FBI director, Lazaro, and then he like ends up dying. It feels like it was, I know he like had a heart attack or a seizure or something like that, but it kind of felt like it was supposed to be insinuated that like Troy like instigated it with an evil stare, because this was also like, Archer's mentor.
Yeah, that is a good point. Like, because it seemed like he picked up on like the director was just kind of like not doing great, and so then he was like, oh, I bet if I like hit him hard enough in the chest, he'll have a heart attack. Like, that's how I took it, of him being like, guy has like indigestion or something, I should just give him a heart attack.
I just like the idea of actually the face-off medical experience team also gave them telepathic skills, because you know what, why the hell not?
Why not at this point?
It is a sci-fi.
Yeah, it is a sci-fi, that is true.
So while he's dealing with that, while Troy's dealing with that, Archer sneaks into his own home and convinces Eve to do a blood test to prove he's actually him and that she's really been banging Troy, which she's like, since she does do it, suggests to me she did have an inkling that it wasn't actually her husband, which I think it was because he like kind of forgot their son's birthday, and then that was kind of like the first red flag. So she does,
especially since like, sorry, it was just like the whole like, obviously losing a child, very traumatic and everything. But I think there's a certain extent where it's also like, hey brother, you have another child and a family. And
she's clearly like acting out with
you
crazy eye makeup.
More present. But the drawn on eyelashes was like, as a parent, I wouldn't be like, hey, too much makeup. I'd be like, sure, wear a lot of makeup, but
pop
not
off,
like
girl. Whatever.
Not like this.
Well, but you gotta start, and that was before YouTube makeup tutorials. So she really had nothing to go off of. It was just experimental.
That's true. No crybaby.
Yes,
no crybaby.
Thank you,
boy.
Elliot. So she does discover it is in fact true. It's not her husband's blood type, and then she's back at the hospital with Archer, the real Archer, and does his blood type and is like, "Oh, you are my husband." And then Troy catches on that Eve is lying to him, and he says, such a silly line. I love this line. I thought it was great. Lies, deceit, mixed messages. This is turning into a real marriage. And he's also got like his cronies with him. It's like not even FBI agents anymore. It's just like straight up cronies.
Like they clearly were people that like went around with Castor Troy as Castor Troy, but now they're just cruising with Archer.
I feel like we're getting a little confused. We're losing the plot at this point.
Yeah.
So then we like are at the director's funeral, and now our third showdown happens with like 7 people pointing guns at each other. I was crying, laughing. It was like, no, you put the gun down. No, you put the gun down.
And another person comes in. Put it down.
No, you put it down.
I did like that Sasha then like went for Eve to like protect Eve.
Yeah.
That was sick. It was, like,
girl code.
Women supporting women. We love to see it.
It did make me think of that Spider-Man meme of all the Spider-Mans pointing at each other. That's exactly what it made me think of.
Absolutely.
Right, and ultimately because Sasha goes to protect Eve, she ends up dying, and she's laying on Archer's chest, who she believes is Troy, and says, take care of our boy, raise him to be different than us.
Yeah. I mean, she's the true hero of the movie.
Yeah, I love Gina Gershon. I think she's so pretty,
she's
too.
Great.
I don't think she's in enough stuff, honestly.
Agreed.
So then more shooting and fighting happens, and like, so at a point where like the chapel, the bench has the hole, and he like peeks his eye. He's like, and then his daughter gets dragged into it because I think she was supposed to be in the pointing the gun standoff, and then she's like running around getting in, and she doesn't know who's her dad, who's not her dad, but then she ultimately like shoots her dad on accident, but then she turns around and stabs Troy with the butterfly knife and the technique that he told her to, so it kind of backfired on him.
Beautiful.
Poetic
justice.
Look, he helped her get not sexually assaulted, and then he gets stabbed in the leg for it. That's not the moral of the story, guys, but
you should
more
still
foreshadowing. Yeah, definitely always especially if it's Danny Masterson.
Yeah.
And then we get to, and then they rumble tumble, and the two FBI agents come up, and then he just blasts them, and then we get to the boat chase, which is definitely by far the most epic part of the whole film. Yeah, it's pretty long.
It's really good. Yeah,
it's really good. The stunt people were working their asses off. There's jumping from boat to boat. There's being dragged by the chains, and then
which was just sick. And then he's just like wakeboarding with his feet.
That was crazy. And sick. Just so you know, it's really hard to stand up on skis in general. So to just do it on your feet, incredible. Yeah. Incredible.
By that point, you could really tell that the stunt doubles weren't even trying to look like them anymore.
No, they were just doing their job. They were just do cool stuff. Fully
stunt doubled. They were like, we don't need it to look like Nick Cage and John Travolta at this point. This is just bad as hell.
This is just bad. I like when he's like hanging on by the chain. He's getting like thrashed in the water. It's a great scene. Definitely watch. Just that scene alone, you could just watch it and really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then we get to the beach.
That's what made the movie.
Oh, no kidding. And then we get to the beach, which is the final battle, and that's where Troy is ultimately killed. But it's like, it's John Travolta's. I made the distasteful joke of saying beached whale. He's not even that fat. I just like don't like John Travolta like at all.
I feel like he's also just really sensitive about his appearance.
He is, yeah, because he had hair plugs like before. That was like really a big thing, but they aren't big. Yeah. But
he's had also quite a bit of plastic surgery.
He died so bad, and he's like, I feel like I'm exaggerating, beautiful. But I'm also really not.
I don't think you are. It was really bad.
Yeah.
And that was like John Travolta being like, how would Nick Cage die?
Yeah, exactly. Which I'll give him that. Nick Cage is an over-the-top campy actor. Yeah. You know, he's got this was before Nuevo or Nuev shamanism or whatever the hell his acting is, but still he's always been a pretty over-the-top guy. Yeah. So now that Troy's dead, Archer gets his face back, and I love when he gets home and there's like the fog, and
which is like also the fact that his wife, the doctor, wasn't there when he woke up from his surgery. Like,
she's got things to do in the house, okay? She's also
like literally
a woman.
writing in her diary at home.
Yeah, she's busy, and I was laughing too because I was like, I don't know, like I know they changed like he got the lipo to have the Nick Cage, but I was like, so does that mean they put the fat back in his body?
They saved the fat in a different vat of like saline solution
to put it back in his body. I don't know. I feel like if I was John Travolta's character, if I was Archer, I'd be like, I want to keep the abs. I'll keep the abs.
Let me keep the body. Just give me the big head on the tiny body.
He does have a big head.
It's a really big head.
Yeah,
it's a really big head.
And I just love too the smoke. It's like an angel coming in, and then lo and behold, which I assumed was going to happen, they adopt Troy's son to replace Michael. And all is good with the world.
I know. That was so crazy. And then
it literally was a replacement for Adam.
It really was. Yeah. And then like Adam comes in and like the sister immediately does like the face thing that they keep doing, which like I get the movie's called Face Off, so it's like face and all that sort of shit, but like literally why are we doing this? Why is this like the love
Well, why are we doing this too when it should be face off? Like just say
face off. I don't know. But anyway, it's like that's like how he communicated also to Eve that like he is who he is. Yeah. Like that was like his way of saying I love you or whatever. And it's just like if I like Adam coming in and the first thing the sister does is that, and he's like, the fuck is this? What is happening?
So other than the boat scene, what was your second favorite scene in this movie?
Oh boy.
We didn't even roast it that bad, for the record.
Yeah, for the record, this wasn't that bad of a roast. If anything, we really just roasted John Travolta as a person.
You give me an
Which
inch, I'm
feels
taking a mile.
really mean.
Whatever. You can't be mean to men.
Yeah.
Especially
I
weird
really-
Scientologists. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's true. We did go in on Tom Cruise pretty bad too. I think I really like the surgery, the whole surgery thing happening was just I had a really big reaction to it.
Great
But
scene.
it was also just like I really loved when Nick Cage's Troy at the beginning of the movie shows up to the where like the airplanes are or whatever, and they like open up his little box and stuff, and he like takes off a pair of sunglasses and then puts on another pair of sunglasses.
Can't have enough. I kind of get. Oh yeah, his guns were dope too. I actually liked his little box. That was dope.
Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I think that Nick Cage in this movie was really great. He did exactly what Nick Cage is supposed to do. And I think he did also a really good impression of John Travolta.
Yeah.
And then John Travolta made me so uncomfortable throughout the entire movie.
Yeah,
no matter who he was playing.
He sort of just played like Nick Cage creepy, and I do like agree that Nick Cage has like a creepy factor, but I just feel like Nick Cage really took notes in those 2 weeks, and I don't feel like John. Maybe he was
like. I think that like John Travolta, I don't think played Nick Cage. I think John Travolta just like played a bad guy.
I agree.
Where like played a druggy eccentric bad guy, whereas Nick Cage played John Travolta like as a cop.
Yeah, I agree.
Commend Nick Cage on this film. Maybe if he was paired with Tom Cruise, it would have gone better. Different Scientologist.
I really think it would have been a radically different film had it been 2 different actors, but you kind of have these 2 very famous but not fantastic actors by any stretch. Like neither of these guys are recognized for their acting abilities, but
and known for being very campy too.
Yeah, they're definitely like eccentric people. But I have to say, like, after rewatching this, because I haven't seen this movie in a really long time in hindsight, this is definitely in the top. Like, I would say Raising Arizona is my favorite Nick Cage movie. Like, I think he just kills that role. I will always love that movie. But this is like probably his second best as far as like acting wise goes, and it's quite enjoyable. Like, I don't know, the drug scene with the big buggy eyes. I'm like, like that. You know, he really ate that up. He really ate that up. You have to put Tom Cruise on stilts. Yeah, his lady.
They would have to like and then like also cut off the sorry, but your dad asks you to watch the film with him. But it'd be a fun film to watch with a dad.
You gotta watch it with your dad. It's such a
this would be a good movie to watch with a dad. You know?
Come on, spend time with Papa.
For all the movies that your dad could make you watch with him,
this is not that bad.
Decent one. It's a really long one, but like, and I'm not like a big action person. The action's fucking dope.
It is great, and I am a big action person, and it does have great action. And you know, I didn't mention this in the summary, but the scene where because it's like Nick Cage is like posing as like a pastor.
A priest, the opening,
and then he like gropes the girl, and he's like, "Ha!" It's just so nice. It's
crazy,
and like I don't know, and like thinking now that I've like said it out loud too, thinking about that this movie started with John Travolta's son or Archer's son getting shot by accident, and Troy even says that he's like, "I meant to kill you, I didn't mean to kill your kid." Like, whoops.
And he clearly was like, oh, shit, that feels bad. He didn't feel great about that,
And then it jumps to them 6 years later with this, like, hardcore vendetta and the, like, crazy him being a priest, groping up people to plant the bomb, and then the plane to Hummer chicken game, and then just... and then the bomb. And I feel like so little of the movie actually has, like, deep... Like, the actual plot is the movie, and then the rest of the movie is just kind of like action. Yeah,
what are like cool action scenes we can do?
Yeah,
like, and I that was the thing. Like, the standoff at the airport at the beginning, I was like, I don't know how this movie isn't ending right now. Like, I feel like we're at a conclusion. Like, they faced off, like, we're done. And then it was like, oh no, we're literally gonna do a face-off. Got it.
They could have ended the movie after the second face-off where they're at the drug den hideout. Poor Inflev's tortured to watch Fight Club over and over again. Fight Club is also a very boy movie.
Such a boy
It's not
movie.
a bad movie, though, I will say. It's just, like, I think it just, like, a lot of the crummy people like it.
I think it's similar to Goodfellas, where it's, like, people, like, men that watch it. It's, like, like, Manosphere film, where it's, like, they're not getting that it's criticizing like, hyper-masculinity and shit. Like, it's very in that camp of, like, yeah, these aren't good role models. These aren't cool people. Just because Brad Pitt is like hella cut, they think this is sick. This is what it should be. This is the height of being a man.
Yeah. Who do you think would have been the terrorist, and who do you think would have been the FBI agent if it was Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I think Schwarzenegger would have to be the terrorist because he's,
Why? Because he's Austrian?
He's Eastern, like Austrian. I was like Eastern European-ish, German adjacent. They would have to make him the. Your dad named one of his kids off of one of the main characters of Fight Club.
Was that you and Flev that were named after that? Or is it
I don't remember
sister?
it in Flev, no.
I disagree. I think it would be opposite. I think Arnold would be the head of the FBI, and I'll say why.
You think so? Okay,
because
tell me.
Sly, despite being American, you cannot understand anything he says.
You can't understand either of them.
No, you can understand Arnold Schwarzenegger. When he says get to the chopper in Predator, you know exactly what he's saying.
That's fair. But I think it's like, if it was Sly and Arnold, I think that they would base it instead of LA in New York, because then it would make more sense for it to be Sly. It'd be like New York City cop.
That's true.
He's got that kind of accent to make it work.
Ew, Adrian.
Adrian.
And then I was like, I planted a bomb.
Exactly. I think that would make a lot of sense. I think if it was Al Pacino and Robert
Al
De
Pacino's
Niro,
going to be the domestic terrorist.
Yeah, I was going to say they probably would swap,
Yeah.
because in Heat, De Niro is the criminal and Pacino is the cop, so they would probably swap it. And then Pacino really has a crazy eccentricism to him that Nick Cage has, and
I feel like
I don't know.
Denzel and Wesley's obvious. I feel like Denzel would be the FBI agent and Wesley Snipes would be the terrorist, which...
Agreed.
Whoa! I just thought about this movie. I love Wesley Snipes, and I forgot what it's called, but it has Sylvester Stallone, and Sylvester Stallone's like a cop from the past, and Wesley Snipes is a domestic terrorist. This came out in the 90s too. Shit! Someone look up this movie for me.
Crossover.
And what happens is Sly is he kind of does something like dirty in order to capture Wesley Snipes' character. So then they both get cryogenically frozen. Hold on, this movie sounds fucking dope. The more
you're like, this is going like way back in the recesses of your brain.
And then they get thawed out in the future, because I think Wesley's character like gets out of his cryo chamber, and it's in the future where it's like Denzel would have been the terrorist. No way. Denzel's like, I think he has too good of, he was like every 90s mom's like heartthrob. For black male actors. Like, every mom loved Denzel. I don't think... But Wesley kind of has, like, a bad boy image already. I mean, the tax evasion alone. But, yeah, we should actually watch this movie, because it's set in the future that it's, like...
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man. It's so good, and they
this does look...
It's a great movie.
Just looking at the pictures, I'm like, this does look good.
Yeah, and it's like, you can't cuss in the future, you get fined, and like stuff. It's like really ridiculous.
Okay, so this has a 67% in Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
Yeah, Training Day is a great movie, but...
I've never seen Training Day.
But in Training Day, he's a corrupt cop.
It's
different. Like... But
that's not a domestic terrorist. I think
what it is it's not a domestic terrorist. I think that the kind of cop that the kind of bad guy he plays in that movie, I don't think translates to the kind of bad guy that a domestic terrorist would need to be.
What was the other pair? It was Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford would have been
and Michael
FBI.
Douglas.
Yeah, Harrison Ford.
Yeah, exactly.
FBI
Michael
agent
Douglas would have absolutely been the terrorist.
Yeah.
He has a terrorist face.
He does. All right. Well, okay. I know this was like a roast, but I feel like it really wasn't roasted that bad.
It didn't turn out to be much of a roast. It was a roast of John Travolta.
Yeah, this was the roast of John Travolta, not the film Face Off.
Yeah.
Do you have any final
Which
notes?
honestly probably makes Steven happy because he wanted us to not roast it. So
True. I think
don't
Robbie
say we
left.
never did nothing for
Robbie
you.
was like, "Fuck you! How dare you try to roll it, roast it? It hurts, Robbie. We care about you."
Come back, Robbie.
Well, so just a reminder: next week we're doing Florida Project. So it's not going to be as lighthearted as this one.
Yeah, this was the fun one. Next week will be a little bit heavier, but we'll have a good discussion about it. It's such a good movie. I
do want to jump ahead since you're doing the little schedules now. Might as well. So if you guys want a palate cleanser, you could watch Florida Project and then gear up with us and watch another John Travolta shit show. And this is actually a shit show, and this will be a roast. Is Battlefield Earth, which is a Scientology film. Very excited.
I'm so excited.
Very
I'm so
excited
about it. It's so funny that we had an episode when we were just doing the lives and we just like got in the chat about John Travolta. We're all talking about John Travolta. So now we're like, let's just do so many John Travolta movies.
Yeah, but after Battlefield Earth, that's the last John Travolta film for a while. I don't see any more.
For the foreseeable future.
Yeah, for the foreseeable future, I don't see any more. Mm-hmm. We gotta throw Demolition Man up on there at some point.
Yeah. We should add. Well, we have to come up with the next film.
We have a couple of good plans after our current schedule. We still have quite a few movies to get through before that. But
I'm just gonna go put Demolition Man on the list now, so that we don't forget, because this happens to us all the time. The fanatic.
Yeah, I'm also excited for episode. I don't know if it's actually 16, but. We talked about one of the actors today who's going to be in it.
Yeah, I'm excited for the themes that we have coming up that leads to that movie.
Yeah, me too. It's crazy.
So stupid.
All right,
but yeah, we'll be posting the May schedule this coming week. So
Loser wants us to do Fanatic, which is the John Travolta film where he plays an autistic man named, I think it's Moose.
All right, maybe I'll add it to the list.
Season 3 is about ripping apart John Travolta and his entire
Flip, do you
career.
have a film request that we should add to the list since the list is up?
You're here.
Should we do Fight Club? make you watch Fight Club.
Don't
again
let your papa
with
see
your
it.
dad.
Yeah, you've already seen it, so at least you could be part of the conversation.
That's true.
Dude, Mizu looks pissed. He's like, "Fucking feed me, bitch."
Feed me, bitch. But yeah, so we have a lot of good movies on the docket. And Flip's thinking, no.
All right,
that's fine. You could think of one, and we'll be here next week. Yeah, not Fight Club. We'll be here next week too. You can drop recommendations in the chat, in the comments. Yeah. But do we have a quote for the?
No, I goofed.
Let's look up. Let's just. I'll Google real quick. This gives Influb some more time.
Kyle wants us to watch Top Gun. That's gonna be a roast, Kyle.
We should do Top Gun actually,
because we did talk about it a lot in
Cocktail.
Kyle loves Top Gun because it's about planes, huh?
I don't think I've actually seen the original Top Gun. Isn't that funny?
Inflex, you are right. Hardcore Henry is a good movie. They don't all have to be actions. We do all kinds of films. Hey, mister, stop scratching the rug. Sorry.
Okay, there's not a lot of good vibes for the Florida Project.
Like a bummer. It's because this movie's a fucking bummer.
Okay, here, I'll copy this quote, and this is good enough. Except, of course, I canceled out the fucking document.
Yeah, I know. I did that too.
Do you want me to just say it?
You could just say it.
Because we're here.
Yeah.
Okay, the doctor said we have asthma and we gotta eat ice cream right away. So that's what we're gonna go do now that this episode is over. And yeah, we'll get Top Gun on the list.
Yes.
And $1 for Top Gun.
You don't have to give us any dollars.
Okay, I was gonna say we'll hold you to it.
No, because I can't promise when we're gonna do it. We got a whole.
It'll be a while. We do have a lot of movies on the docket.
I just came up with a new series too for us to do. So, well,
perfect,
okay,
beautiful.
All right. Anyway, bye.
Bye.
Stream and transition.